Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Sup? Back again. Hello. Okay, I am so excited about today. So Regina actually is my beautiful guest, my good friend, and she just called me the voice liberator. I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. I need to buy that URL. Don't anybody buy that out there because I'm going to try to buy that later today. Of course, I have to learn how to spell liberator. Anyways, I am so excited today. As y'all, if you don't know, go listen to my other podcast, but I've been through hell and back. And so when I meet someone for the heck of it, for God intervention, for the universe putting this beautiful woman in my path, I get so excited. So let me just share with you. I was on one of those online things when COVID hit, because you're sitting at your desk and you go on online things when COVID hits. And we were in this program and Regina reached out to me and said, are you in finance? I want to learn more about finance. I'm like, yeah. And by the way, I'm badass at it and the guru. And if you're a woman, I want to talk to you. So we like totally connected through this online program. Mm-hmm. I was in San Diego at the time. Yeah. And so Regina's like, let's meet. I'm like, oh, not only do I get to meet you, but we get to go have drinks and appetizers and cocktails. Right? Yeah. So then we met at the restaurant on the water, which was amazeballs because it got me out of my house and learning San Diego a little bit. You were so real from the moment that I freaking met you. I think you retired from a shoot. She's also, I'm going to let her tell you everything, how badass she is. But it was so great to meet her. And we just clicked. Immediately we clicked. Like we've been friends ever since. Like I've kidnapped her. We've gone to Vegas. This is it. Like, it's just one of those people that you meet and you're like, oh, we're going to be friends for life. You might hate me a few of the times. I might hate you, but we're going to be friends for life. So I want to share with you. She is being very vulnerable today. Isn't she gorgeous? She's so gorgeous. If you guys are listening on a podcast, jump on YouTube for Rock My Finances because she is absolutely stunning. So besides that, you're going to get a great story. You're going to feel really good. And this is going to be one of those things that you're going to remember. So I'm looking forward to it. And since I'm the voice, what am I? The voice liberator. Liberator. Okay, awesome. Miss Regina Yeager. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live?
Okay.
Tell me a little about the basics.
My name is Regina. Nice to meet all you guys. I recently moved up to North Hollywood.
Whoop,
I became an LA person. That was a dream that died a long time ago. So
I sparked it.
She sparked it. What I do, I own a photography company and a corporate production company. So
I don't even know what that means, y'all, but that's okay.
So I make people look pretty and help people make money off of looking pretty.
Oh, we like money. We like
people,
money.
Businesses. That's what I do.
Commercials, all that stuff.
Yep.
Yep. I can tell you, she flies all over and does these shoots. I'm like, where are you going? I don't know. I'm going to Arizona was one.
New York, I've gone to Europe, I've gone Mexico, I've gone all over. So.
All over the place. And I'm shooting this, I'm shooting that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go. Can I just carry your tripod or something? Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it's so great. So I just love hearing about everything that she's doing. And then the production company with commercials and helping businesses and she's crazy busy. But it's really fun to connect with her on a human level.
Yes.
I love, love, love it. So tell me a little bit about we met around money because we like finance and we like money, right?
Yep.
And so she's done a lot of my coaching stuff. She's done a lot of my mindset around money. Tell me one thing that you learned, maybe from me or the mindset around money, something that maybe shifted you a little bit. And I know I'm throwing you on the spot right here.
Yeah, totally. No, I think
because I do that.
Connecting feelings with money.
Oh, the F word.
Because I was very all jacked up in that arena. So just like little shifts with like feelings and the connection to it and making sure you're bringing fun into the mix, but also, like not just being as like rigid. So.
I love that. So I'm going to change those words because that's what I do. The rigid means really masculine and jacked up means the masculine way as well. So women step into this financial services industry and we think that we're jacked up and we feel like we're crazy because their mind works differently than we do. When we look at something, we look at the spider web of if I do A, how's it going to affect everyone else in my life and me in the future? Men don't do that. They're amazing. They're great at categorizing. They're great at just doing one thing at one time and dealing with that one thing. We don't do that. So we have to think about money differently. So I love that you fell right into my little, what's my tagline is the F word, baby, feelings. That is what we have to look at is our feelings around money. So that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello. Come on.
Oh my God. I love her. She's so awesome. So now one more little secret. We went to this convention a while back and they kind of had to drag us off the dance floor because Regina and I were like the last ones on the freaking dance floor without alcohol. I might mind you.
I don't need the alcohol.
We don't need the alcohol. We just need the music and the floor. Like it was hilarious. Everybody's all in these couples and they're all doing all this professional stuff. And we're like, damn, we're like out there like, nope, we don't care. We don't care. We're getting our groove on. It was so fun. Oh my God. So I just told her we have to go dancing again. So she's got a spot here in LA that we're going to go to a speakeasy and go dancing. I can't wait.
Same.
I love it. Okay.
All right.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood growing up. Mom, dad, sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh man. Okay.
Just a little.
So I'm going to make it really short and simple, but
you go.
Growing up, I had both parents in the home.
Okay.
However, I had like no relationship with my dad. With my mom, when I would try to speak up, it was like not my child and just really high extreme expectations, not extreme, but just expectations for, someone being really young. And I was made fun a lot of, but I would never, ever let anyone know it hurt me. I was like, we're going to go with the flow with this, whatever. So, I felt like I kind of created my own world because, at home, I couldn't really show up in public. I did, but it was like I was the weird one. But then when I tried to acclimate to being the cool one, dating the jock and being the cool kid, I was like, this sucks. Like being cool, like sucked. It was so like you had to like be a certain. I was like, this is not me. And so it was. I mean, I had fun in my own right. I also knew how to just be intentional if I wanted to meet people, wanted to build relationships. So I knew how to go and get what I wanted. But there's just a lot of like communication and like emotional aspects that were just not nurtured. So it was just like, okay, whatever, you figure it out and you just do what you got to do and
to get through.
Yeah. So,
okay. So I'm hearing again, my words.
Okay, go for it.
You tell me if I'm crazy. So when I love that you said that you created your own little world to be able to survive. So that means patterns.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, didn't know your dad.
Yeah. Like my dad was like, okay, literally my dad would just be like, I'd wear a cute skirt. And I didn't know that I was an attractive young girl. Like there was just no communication.
She still doesn't know how attractive she is, y'all.
Like, she's freaking gorgeous. I was developed and tall. I didn't know. I just like, whatever. And so whenever I'd like wear a little cute skirt, my dad would go nuts. And I'm like, dude, chill out. Like you're crazy. Like what is wrong with you? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And that was his way.
Did you get to wear the skirt?
No.
Oh. So you said, all right, I'm changing the skirt, whatever.
Yeah. And, anyways, it was just
But
weird.
You didn't
there
know.
There was no communication.
Well, yeah. They didn't.
Talk to me. Tell me you love me. Damn it. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
They didn't do that back then.
No. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, they did not do that back. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so you look my words again, so you correct me. You learned how to stifle your voice. Stifle is like a old word, but you learned how to suppress it or change it to fit into wherever you're at, or just move on?
I learned how to just figure stuff out
To make everyone happy?
To be able to move forward, to, I guess, make people happy. I don't know if I was trying to make people happy. I think I was just trying to.
So you're not a people pleaser.
Well, I was people pleaser, but
oh really?
But like, I don't know. I was just like, okay. If I'm not getting my needs met, I have to figure out how.
But at least you knew you had needs.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good for being young and knowing that you have. I'm not getting my shit met, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to do something different to get that met.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so childhood.
Okay.
Parents still together?
You're still married. Okay.
There's a whole nother story there. It's another podcast. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So they're still married. And now who are you inside the family? Do you have a voice yet?
I have a voice.
Oh.
It was cool. So, after college, I was able just to talk to my dad and just kind of shoot straight with him. Like, dude, like, you don't call me. You don't even ask how I'm doing. Like, you say you want this, I have like a Christian background. Like, you want this godly life. I'm like, I don't want that. I was like, your example was horrible. So I just like, we've just like, I can be very direct with him, and it's like, we can fight and then like, we're fine. So I love that. And then with my mom, it's more of like, now, like, Mom, like, love yourself and like speak up and create boundaries. Like, I'm the kid that's like confrontational, but like, I love them. And then like, they're just like, that's just Regina. Like,
how often do you talk to them?
I talk to my mom like every week.
Okay.
A couple times. Yeah. My dad, he's always in his own. He's the dad. World. Yeah. So
that's okay. Awesome. I love that. Okay. Create boundaries. I remember doing that to my mom. I was like, I took her to Al-Anon when I was in high school. I'm like, I am over this. I took my mom to Al-Anon. She started setting boundaries. Shit started changing. Wow. It was crazy. And then she's like, oh, you just got to get out because you were just creating way too much fucking trouble. You just got to get out. So I moved out as soon as I graduated at 17. Like, she's like,
I did too. I was like,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew how to work. I love working.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, I'm out. Went to
my
college.
Own money, my own.
Yeah. And I was like,
okay. So Luna literally loves Regina. Like, Luna has been bugging her this whole time since she got in. I'm so sorry. So if I show her in front of the camera, say, hello, Luna, say hello. Okay. Now go play. My goodness. Okay. She's never done that on a podcast. She loves you. Okay. So Luna's my cat, y'all. The podcasters. I just picked up my hairy gray cat and showed her in front of the video because she thinks she's on Zoom. Okay. So now I love that. I love that. So now you have your parents now speaking your voice. Now let's go back to high school. You said you didn't fit in. How was that in high school?
So I was like my own person. Like, I always had friends because I love people. Like, I always have. So, and I played sports. So I had my softball girls.
What sports?
I played softball and volleyball. So I had my softball girls, but then also some of those girls I went to elementary school. So I already known them. I just went to a private school for middle school. And then, I would just meet everyone. So I was friends with people, but when it came to like, how that's like the cliques, I am not a clique person. Like, I don't like that. Like,
did you not know high school is cliques?
No, I didn't know. Like,
yeah, high school is cliques.
So yeah, so I'm like, I had friends. There were certain people like that would make fun of me, which is so sad. Like, that person actually ended up dying. It was sad. Like, he would like sit across from me in science and just talk so much crap.
Like
to
what?
Me. Like, I don't remember, but it was just mean and cruel.
What can he make fun of you about?
I don't know. I was a nerd too. So.
Oh, you're a nerd?
I was like,
so you're smart?
Smart.
So he was jealous. He actually really liked you.
Whatever. Anyways.
Okay.
So it just was like, okay, whatever. So I don't know. I did me. Like, I knew at a pretty young age, the whole cool crowd from like, dude, whatever. I just was like, that's not me. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not this. Like,
you're not a robot.
Never will be. And okay. So how do we just show up and navigate? And so whatever, that's how I did it.
All right. Stepping into graduating high school.
Yeah.
Any relationships in your life? Any love relationships?
I dated just about every year. Had a
boyfriend. She like that was quiet, y'all, but she had a man every year. Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Sports? My mom always made sure I was doing good in school. At one point I wasn't, so she pulled me out. So I went to a smaller school where I finished college at like high school. Well, I was doing high school and college at the same time. So like,
oh, that was so smart.
yeah. So like my mom was like, no, like I was in a public school. So she took me to a smaller one. So by the time I went to college, I was a sophomore.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, yeah, like school nerd, my own little world, whatever, did the dating thing and just like did me. Had friends. My mom knew when to step in and be like, yeah, you don't need to be spending time with this girl. So she,
so
she was intentional, which I am grateful in that regard, because there'd be people that I would get involved with that just weren't like, the path wasn't good. So she did it in a very like, not like overbearing way, because she spent a lot more of her energy on my sister, who took a lot more work. So like with me, like I wasn't as much work, but I still had needs.
And did she make decisions for you?
When it came to like basic stuff, like school, when I went to public school, that was my decision.
Okay.
But like school, basic things like that. Yeah.
So did you learn how to make decisions for yourself and fall on your ass and pick yourself up?
I feel like going to high school, that was a part of that. I mean, I played sports, but there wasn't too much of that. It was, I don't know, like I just did things. And
you just did what you were supposed to do.
Or I got in trouble.
What's the worst thing you did in high school?
I think I ditched class for like a month.
Oh my God.
Well, the teacher was like a jerk, and I like threw it back in his face. And then my mom found out. She's like, "What is this?" And I was like,
I don't like him.
And she was just like, not okay with it.
Oh my God.
It. I mean, that's as bad as it gets.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so now moving on to college. You went to college?
I went to college.
Where'd you go?
Cal State Fullerton.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And how was that for you?
Fun. It was great. Like I had my girls, my roommates in college. I joined a little bit of clubs. The only thing is I was too young. Like I was 17.
Yeah.
So I was the DD.
The designated driver forever.
And I'm like, okay, this sucks. I mean, of course I could drink, but like, I just didn't. Like, I was never like this bad party person, but I do like to have fun, but I just, whatever. So I was fair. I mean, I went to school full time, probably worked full time at the same time. It was another relationship, and just very much like, this is what I want to accomplish and do, like very like,
so very goal oriented,
very
futuristic.
Okay. Right. And then I like met this woman that I was working with. But before that, like I ran into this church because I was like kind of visiting churches, whatever. I don't think churches are friendly, to be honest with you, but whatever. So
because they're cliquey.
Yeah.
Kind of like high school.
Just fine.
So wait, you grew up go back to religion. You grew up as in religion in growing up in your household.
Yeah, we did church. Yeah.
Okay, so you did church on a regular basis growing up. Okay, so you were looking for churches.
So I was looking for a church. I was like, I want to, do this God thing, whatever. Like, but for myself, not, whatever. So I remember visiting one church and just like, this church is weird. Like, it just like I was non-denominational, so all the other stuff don't really care about. And so I was like, oh, this church is weird. So I didn't go back, but I was working and one of the gals went there, which I didn't make the connection at the time. And she was at the time, I was in a relationship and I kind of was, setting up boundaries, and, he was bucking, and we had the opportunity to go on a cruise, and I didn't want to go. No, I did want to go. And she's like, I had a child at 17, and if I really would advise you not to go, whatever. So I kind of was grateful, like, just sharing that. And I, was like, I'm not going to go. And she like invited me to her home. And then now she's like, oh, come to my church. And she has like these weird interns. Not like they're weird, but I'm like, okay, that's weird. They're like in their 20s. Why the hell are they like
following you around and interning?
Like, this is weird. Not necessarily following her around, but like, why aren't they working, or why aren't they, in corporate, or just in, that was just my thought.
Okay.
So that was like that connection to then finding this church now that I found myself back at. And yeah.
So you started going to the church?
I did.
And working with the lady who introduced you to the church?
Yeah, I was working at a company with her. Yeah.
So how often did you see the lady at work?
Whenever we'd have shifts. I don't know.
Okay. And then how often did you go to the church? And was it non-denominational as well?
No, it was like it was started by a woman, Foursquare, whatever. So yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Basics are down. So I didn't really think too much into it. I still thought like some of the things that were there were just weird.
Like what?
The intern thing, just the way they would speak on the stage, I thought was just weird. And I was like, okay, like just weird. So yeah, she introduced me to some of the other young adults there and just kind of slowly like brought that community aspect.
And was it a lot of young people, or was it all ages when you would go to, like, I'm thinking church Sunday service?
Yeah, no, I feel like it was a good amount of young people.
Okay.
Yep.
And was that weird?
I liked it. I was like, okay, cool, young
Your
people,
vibe,
whatever. There was not a big emphasis on higher education, and that was something that, when I look back, is very important for, like, I hope this doesn't sound mean, but like the people I want to spend time with, because it just brings a different like dynamic to the table.
Absolutely does.
And that was something that I noticed, but yeah, it
didn't trigger. No flags?
It didn't trigger yet.
Okay.
But when it came to stuff from the pulpit and like not having an education was almost like, you don't need that. I'm like,
so it's actually opposite. Because you
like,
need
yeah,
this
so they
education.
would do things, the opposite. And I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Okay. And then why did I want to go, my F word.
Feelings. Okay.
Yep. I want to go down to the feelings of, you already had some flags of, this is weird. This is not the normal church environment that you grew up with. They're saying different things, that your ideals are education and they're not. What kept you there or kept you going back? What was the feeling that you were attracted to?
So one was, I think I had broken up with the guy I was with. And so I was like wanting
vulnerable
God and healing and like
love,
chick shit.
Yeah, chick shit. I just want to be loved by someone. I always say, I just want a hug.
And like, so it was like, I'm like, okay, I need to be healed. Okay, pause. Number one, I was fine for setting a boundary. There was no healing that I needed. I just need to keep going and moving on and knowing, okay, if someone can't respect your boundaries, then you move on.
Yes.
Okay, so that was number one. And then two, I think for me, having the community was like fun. Like I had my college girls, which my college girls were like, you just disappeared. I was like, girl, let me tell you what happened. But I think there was an element that I liked with that in terms of the people
because they had things to do all the time. They were keeping you guys busy.
Yeah. So there was that. And then with school, like I was always a gangster with school. Like I just know how to get stuff done. So.
Right. So you could, because your mom kept you on task. Yeah. And so you could study probably half the time that everybody else had to in order to be pass the class.
Do what I got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which I already know that she's extremely smart, y'all. So I already know that. Okay. So what type of time did you spend with your college girls versus your church people? And that's not, that's my words again.
I just feel like it was, oh my gosh.
50-50. Like, did you start pulling away and spending more time at church?
I feel like I started to pull away and spend more time at church. I found a way there was an internship I had to do for school credit. So I found a way to couple that with one of the church programs. So yeah, I started going in that direction more. And then with the girls at school, like, I wasn't dating. I had stopped dating. So like, yeah, so I just was like, I started to kind of just separate and go more towards the church vibe.
Do we know why? If you look back at your feelings at that time, because
I think it was more of like community.
Okay. And that's why we have gangs. That's why we have marriages. That's why we have sports. That's why, like, we all crave community. Okay. Right. So going to the community. So now leaving and you didn't want to party anyways.
Right.
College girls are probably partying.
Yeah. Like we had parties at our place, which that was fine. And I was becoming more religious. So now throw that crap in the mix. And now you're like, you have to be holy. So it was just like, it was like, I was going this way, school is that. When I look back, there's nothing wrong with partying.
Like, oh my gosh.
There's nothing wrong. Like that's a part of like the process and like being in college and having fun and building relationships and stories and memories. And so anyways. Yeah.
So going to the church, leaving that part behind, give me an experience of anytime that you're there in that community, what did you feel? Like what maybe thoughts that maybe have shifted for you compared to growing up in the church?
Okay, what do you mean?
Like you went to church your whole life.
Right.
So why is this different?
I think for me, it was like my decision to make it my own faith and not my parents. Because I went because my parents would go. Like I didn't like care. Like it was
right.
all
You
like,
had to. You were a kid. Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, okay, this
so
is
now you're
mine.
making your own choice.
Right. And I'm like trying to learn about God.
And what did you learn differently than what you knew before?
I think I learned more of an authoritative God, but even more so.
So authoritative meaning telling you exactly what to do, think, believe, eat, drink, sleep.
Judge, shame.
Judge, shame. Tell me more about that. What would they judge someone on?
Well, I mean, it was you had the pastor from the pulpit saying things like, I'm very controlling, or like taking people's experiences and sharing them from the stage and then saying, because they didn't follow God, left the will of God, this is why their life has now been destroyed. So it was like a lot of like reiterations from the stage happening that were being, shared. And I'm like here, like trying to learn and wanting to genuinely like follow God. And so it just like was the perfect
brainwash.
Yeah, perfect brainwash.
I'm going to say it. Brainwash, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long?
You're like, oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God, he actually said that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure there's much more that they said. Okay. And we want to hear it, like, because we want to understand. So you're doing that for how long? Like every Sunday? I mean, I grew up in church too with my friend, Sherry, and we did Wednesday night missionettes, Friday night youth group, Saturday night church, Sunday morning, all day church, come back for Sunday evening.
Right. Okay. So there's a little bit of separation. So there was me finishing up college and then there was after college, right? So after college, I was going to do their more professional one because I'm like, okay, college degree, it's time to like step into that place, right? I was like 19 when I finished college, FYI.
Oh my God.
So,
what a badass.
So I'm like, time to keep going. Like, I've always wanted to be an adult as well. So like,
well, you are now.
Never a problem. And so, okay, so that's happening. And, the leaders wanted me to do this program that was full time. So, I mean, Monday through Sunday.
The program at the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
The internship.
The internship.
Like, hey, this is weird.
Pays
like,
nothing?
They're weird. Yes. Basically.
Okay.
And so.
And you have rent, right?
Oh, well, that's a whole other story. So, okay. So, I'm doing this program and I originally told them I didn't apply for it. And then you had like other women leaders. This is what you're supposed to do. This is God's will for you. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I'm an adult. Like I need to do this, And so I get a call. You've been accepted. And I'm like, but I didn't apply. Right. And I'm like,
they did for you.
So is this, is God trying to get me to do this? So like now I'm like going back and forth, conflicted inside, because if you miss the will of God, like it can ruin your life.
Of course. He just said the other guy.
And so I'm over here like conflicted because I want to, but I don't want to do this program. I'm just like, it's full time. I'm out of college. Like these are kids that are applying for it. Anyways, I go back and I tell them, okay, I'll do it.
Why?
I'm like, I think this is what God wants me to do, but I don't want to do it. And that was kind of like a part of a consistent feeling I'd have where I don't want to do something. And then it's like, you have these feelings that God wants you to do it and you want to obey. And it's like, bitch, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do anything.
Well, now she says that. Okay. So back then were you, okay, let me equate God wants you to do it by fitting in with the community as well. Like you're going to disappoint the entire community. You're going to get scorched from the pulpit and all of that's going to happen if you don't follow what you think or what they're telling you God wants you to do.
Right. But
okay.
All that part is more of a psychological process at that point.
Oh yeah. You have no idea you're thinking this.
Right.
Yeah. You have no idea you're thinking this.
So here I go. They're on retreat crying because they're talking about submission. Anyways.
Submission. No. There's no anyways. Submission meaning I need to submit to your will.
God's will.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Oh,
hold
whoops. Sorry,
Sorry.
God.
Stop. Okay.
Okay,
so,
go.
So
This is getting good, y'all.
So now, like, I'm in this world. Everyone's like super young. I'm like, you know, so I still had like student loans. I had a car note I had to pay. I had to raise money to do this. So I learned how to fundraise. I mean, I was providing media services, like, so you're like marketing, advertising pieces.
Of course you are.
Cleaning like buildings, watching kids, like all the physical stuff, but having to pay them. And it wasn't just me, it was multiple people.
Of course.
And so I'm like, okay, you know, this is for God. Meanwhile, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, it was
so
like,
you're battling yourself.
yeah. So it was like, I'm cleaning windows and I'm like trying to put myself out of my misery by like listening to music or dancing, because that's how much I like did not want to do this. And then it's like, well, you need to get in shape, because if you if you want to be here, get your shit together. If you don't, like, get your shit together if you're going to be here or not, whatever. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm here, whatever. This is what God wants, whatever, right? So I'm, you know, raising funds, whatever, at whatever. So I did that for like 3 years. Okay. So doing that, picking up people using my car. Sometimes I'm like the early one up, because I had multiple people to pick up. Last one home, because I had people to drop off. Meanwhile, I'm doing, you know, working physically, doing my media duties, stuff like that.
And getting paid nothing, but paying them and giving them all the fun. Oh my gosh.
And
I need an intern.
that, and then we're not, you know, if we don't have our money in, we're not we don't get fed. So I'm going to the homeless ministry to get us food, to make sure that we have something. Anyways, so that, and then, you know, the next couple of years is just, it changes a little bit different, but you're still, you know, doing all the physical work of everything, making sure that, you know, I'm doing my media stuff, marketing, advertising, content every week, filming once a week, whatever other serve duties, blah, 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 watching kids, all that stuff. Yeah. I was a doormat.
Well, and you, like you said, you weren't the only one.
Right.
So how many kids?
A lot.
Because you guys are literally kids. A lot is 20, 30, 40, 50, 100.
20 at one point, probably more.
Oh my gosh. So you're all in this community being brainwashed by this whole community. It's not even, would you say it's one person?
Or, I mean, I think everyone was kind of like,
everyone was kind of
like, I mean, there is us. And then I feel like there were also people that were still like, I mean, there's a lot more that like even happened, but yeah. No, it just, yeah, it was them.
You see how much time we have left?
Oh my gosh, you're so funny.
We have,
keep going.
11 minutes.
Okay.
Fill it.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, that was the world I was in. And
now that sounds to me like you're busy 24/7, 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
Did you see your family?
Friends, you don't see your family. Maybe it was supposed to be a break.
Okay. We can take that in so many ways, but we're not going to do that. Okay. We just had a little technical sitch. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So going back to, where was your family in this? What did they say? How did you tell them that you were so busy?
So my dad was like, praise God, you're like serving for God. I mean, till this day, my dad's like, get over it. Like, he doesn't care. Anyways, my dad doesn't care about me, but it is what it is. And then my mom's just like, I thought you were just trying to not come back home. And I'm like, Mom, no, like, this is what was going on. Like, she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like,
there's nothing she could have done if you didn't even know what was happening psychologically.
Right. And so it just was very, at the time I didn't, like, you think this is for the Lord, like, for the kingdom of God. And then you get into the real world and you're like, you just got
played.
Okay. So, yeah. And then there's also like the psychological aspect. There was a lot of psychological stuff that you didn't know was getting wired in there, but now you're trying to live life and you're implementing, like, you know, pastor saying, God promote, like, you don't promote yourself, but God promote you. So I'm like, eventually started working for myself, and I'm like,
well, God, where are you promoting me at? Because I need clients.
Right. So it was just like all these like weird, like there's just so many weird things, like not dating and like let God tell you who your spouse is, or like, I told you the whole thing with college. So there was just or like when people would actually stand up for what they thought they were supposed to do and they would say no, I mean, it would be reinforced to everyone. Like they're not following God. This is what happens when you don't follow God. Or like they would be made to be a spectacle, which would
keep everybody else in submission.
Right. Communicate whatever, or someone genuinely saying, Regina, like, hey, this is kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, like I think so too. And then, a leader coming, don't talk about leaders. Like, you what the Lord says. And I'm like, okay, but like she had a really good point.
It made sense intellectually.
And so there was a lot of things like that. And yeah, like I just had no clue. It took towards the end of feeling like I was being coerced with one, it was a demand that I find someone to replace my role. And I'm like, I'm an intern. It's not my job. And then two, just kind of like wanting me to create like some type of like ad content. And I just felt like, okay, well, we didn't have the real structure to support what we're trying to offer. And I didn't like that. I was like, oh, that's not cool. Like we're like lying.
Right.
And so like when I felt like they were getting forceful, that's when like I kind of like was like, hell no. And then that's when I was like, I'm out of here.
So it clicked. I was going to say, how'd you know?
That clicked. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm out of here. And just was like, I didn't know what fully happened, but I just remember leaving and being like, you lost yourself.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just didn't really want to be involved with church for a really long time.
Did they let you leave?
I just was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
And you walked out?
My time was done. Yeah.
Your time was done. They didn't harass you, try to keep you in?
I had some guy take over and I was like, I'm out.
Do they do this all the time? Do they bring in interns and just use them for 3 or 4 years and then let them go?
I don't know. A lot's changed. I don't know.
Okay. So now you came out of there and went, holy crap, where did Regina go? Now I'm in like real life and I'm an adult and I'm out of college and I have no opinions.
I have no brain.
Where'd your brain go? Where'd your opinions go? Okay, so now you're learning to find yourself.
Yeah.
Which you didn't even know yourself when you went in. So now you have to get to know yourself that they created and let go of that self and then get to know yourself as an adult now and create you have like a lot of like, I applaud the hell out of you because you're doing so much now. Oh, and then you met a man and got married.
I got married.
So now who I am as a wife,
mm-hmm.
who I am as the daughter now, who am I as a business owner, who am I as just Regina? Oh, and then COVID hits. And now like family dynamics with in-laws and your family and adult grown ass woman doing well. Like there's so much there. Now I've known her for a couple years now and I've seen that this old stuff creeps in.
Right.
So with 6 minutes left, let's talk about, because it doesn't have to be a religious cult. It can just be a dysfunctional freaking childhood.
Yeah.
And you lose your voice for whatever reason. You have a traumatic event. I have a client who was molested. I have another one that was raped. I have another one that was, parents lost, violence. Like it doesn't matter. With any of that traumatic psychological thing happening, how do you find yourself?
Right. So I think for me, it was when I first left that program, the color pink was like, I didn't know it, but it was like therapeutic for me.
Oh!
I know. Pink. So it was like therapeutic for me. And then, I started hanging out with girlfriends, started dancing, little things like that. There was still a lot to be undone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you feel guilty? Did you feel scared?
I think sometimes there was guilt because there was so much,
there's so much
guilt and shame in your head. I think for me, it took me moving out of California to know, Regina, like you're not okay. And that's when I just started buying and reading books to help undo what was done. And then just knowing that, like, because I kind of felt like I was prostituted out. Like I was only good for as if I was cheap or free.
Mm.
So now bring that into a skill set that you know, have to
Yeah,
make money.
Exactly.
And you feel like you're worth nothing. And so for me, I was like, you know what, I am committed to Regina and making sure she's okay. So that was something personally, I was like, I'm going to bat for myself and I'm not going to give up on myself.
Where did you get that strength?
I don't know. Maybe that's my normal old Regina.
Okay.
So
Your
yeah,
childhood,
so I was like, no, I'm going to bat. You know, when I did try to speak out, they threw one of the pastors at me because I was going to meet with a lawyer. I loved law, by the way. And they were like, well, you're 18. You knew what you were doing. The decision you made, and like basically get over it. And yeah, I just kept fighting for myself. Reading, I did therapy, cut people out of my life. There's a lot that I did.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since you've been on your own?
A long time.
Long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still coming up.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine now. I've resolved it. I'm good. Like I have
resolved that.
Yeah, I'm good. Like I know who I am. I know people, manipulation and control. I understand God. Like that is not like that. Yeah. So
do you like God?
I love God. I think he's awesome.
I was gonna say, does God love you?
He loves me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have to go to church every Sunday for
do
God
not.
to love you?
I do. And I still don't like going to church. I hate church. And I say that in the most like honest way. And I still will go. Like I have a really cool church that I go to, but yeah.
But when you want to.
When I want to go. Yeah.
And do you talk to God daily?
Sure.
Yeah, because it's wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I love that. So what has helped you bridge that craziness feeling of, oh my God, I have all the shame and blame. I'm leaving this community. They're not doing things right. And then come to the terms that I spent how many years ever in that?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you wasted years? Did you feel bad about that?
Yeah, I did for a while, for a really long time. I did. It lingered for a long time. And it's like, okay, you just, I used the pull yourself up by your bootstrap strategy, which is toxic, by the way.
Yeah, very much so.
And I did a lot, traveled the world, started my businesses, whatever. But like, I feel like 2020 made me just like, you need to go to therapy and you need to talk about it and you need to get it out of your system because you need to heal. And that's what really was really helped me to be able to like resolve it, make peace with it, and be able just to like live my life. Like now I can work and it's not, I don't have all this in my head because there, like I said, there's a lot like psychologically that lingers when you're in a culture and environment like that with authoritative hierarchy, be quiet,
shaming,
don't talk.
blaming,
yeah. And so
controlling.
Yep. Manipulative, like just saying, no, I don't want to do this. And it's like, well, you must be offended. It's like, no, I have a life, I have a family. Here's my boundary. I'm not offended. I'm, and so, yeah.
And then they keep talking around it until you submit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's a good one. When was the last time, or whatever time you want to share, that maybe somebody said something or you felt something and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that just triggered, because it's going to trigger.
Okay.
Sorry, I love you, but it's going to trigger. I mean, I get triggered. 30 years later, I get triggered.
I get it. Yeah.
All right. So give me something that triggered. How long does it take you to know that you were triggered? And how do you get out of that?
Well, okay. So when I was in therapy a couple of years ago, I would have triggers come up a lot. Again, it's my responsibility to fix it. I was working with a potential new business partner. My body could instantly pick up on just like that energy, I guess you could say. And my husband, he's like, oh, she's just communicating. And I was like, oh no, this is trying to insert control, trying to this and that. And I just knew it. And like the way she talked, it was weird. I was like, okay, my body is just wigging out. And I was like, okay, let's just get this job done. And I don't want to do business with her anymore. Or recently I had a delayed one, but I picked up on it.
Good.
And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting intimidation. I'm getting aggression. it's still a form of control. I'm like, okay, my body's picking up on it. It was delayed because I'm healing. Like I'm doing great.
But it takes time.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, like this is just a part of the process. And I'm like, just be gentle and love
and
myself.
to know that it takes time. It's okay. It takes years. I couldn't talk about my kids passing for 15 years. It took me forever to become a certified grief counselor. Like a trauma literally takes a long time.
Right.
Now it can take quicker. So I don't want to, scare
it can
anyone
go
out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still getting on with life and having a really good time and enjoying life. But there is just some things that when they hit you, you don't realize that that's triggering the past traumas until you do. Then it's like, oh, okay.
Yep, shit,
I can let that go now. That's not me.
Yep.
And I get better and better and better. I'm still have things that come up and then I'm like, okay, I'm so better this year than I was last year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 60. Shut the hell up. Okay. I love that. Okay. Is there any advice you would have to, and I don't even want to say like you were a victim or you were wounded or any of that stuff. You kind of just accidentally fell into this control.
Right.
So is there anything that you would say to the college graduate or wherever you were when you got introduced to this community? How do we see that going in?
How do we see it? I think just if you feel weird about something, honor it.
Like, there you go.
Like I think I didn't even know about the feeling weird. I didn't understand boundaries. I didn't understand.
Right. You weren't even allowed to have feelings because
or boundaries or speak up. So I'm like, now it's just like, okay, if you feel weird about a place or a person, honor that and keep going. Like you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to be nice, make someone feel happy and comfortable. Like you're not comfortable, and that's more than enough to just keep going. And you don't have to figure it out because you don't want to figure it out. And you just keep going. And so
you probably can't figure it out unless you were on the end with the people. Like you really don't want to figure it out. Yeah. No is a complete answer.
Yeah. And so just really honor yourself. You don't have to dismiss yourself or get rid of yourself to fit in. Like do you and trust that the right people, opportunities, and resources will come to you. And that you are enough, I think. So, I don't know, that was probably a lot. Oh, well.
No, that was really good. I'm hearing trust your intuition.
Yeah.
When you hear yourself say, this isn't right, or this is weird, trust that. And you don't need to figure out why.
No.
Which we do in California anyways. We try to psychoanalyze every freaking thing possible that happens to try to figure it out. Don't even try to figure it out because we can't from that realm of things. We're not in that realm, so we can't figure it out. So just know to trust yourself and move on to next. If you go look back at anything, when would you have made a change?
When? I think it would have been, I wish it would have been like right at the end of college.
To where you would have said, no internship here. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. This is not for me. I'm not doing it.
And maybe even a little bit more because I was on my corporate track. Like, girl, I was ready. I was like, I'm an adult. Like, I had my next corporate job. And I feel like, like even if I took it back a little bit more, I would have just stayed that track. I mean, I had one girl try to say, let's like ditch college and go intern in Michigan. And my mom was like, absolutely not. And I'm like, I'm so thankful she did that.
Right.
I'm so thankful, and
I love that. And we're always healing. We're always growing and learning and loving. And I love it. Yeah. I just want to tell you that I so appreciate you sharing this. I know it was hard for you. I know this is one of your first times that you've shared all this crap and what you've gone through and realizing how much it does affect in all areas of your life down the road is the scary thing because we don't know that over here. Being emotionally abused, being physically abused, being growing up in a dysfunctional household. Guess what, y'all? It all shows up in your money world, which is why we talk about it all. Everyone says, what does Jennifer do? Oh my God, she talks about everything because it's not about the money. It's about your relationship with yourself.
Right.
And if you're not trusting yourself, you're not going to trust your financial advisor. You're not going to trust money's going to come in. You're not going to trust any of that. So we do have to address the past crap in order to step into the true wealth and abundance that you desire, deserve, and we have so much fun with. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sharing your life. And she is amazing, y'all. She's doing so good. And we're never, I mean, we're never all the way healed. So just know that that's the next thing. I'm like, oh, is that coming back up again? Oh yeah, we can let that go now because we're not that person.
Right.
Awesome. Biggest takeaway from the whole call today. What do you think?
Trust yourself and speak up.
I love it. Trust yourself and speak up. Thank you so much. Check out all the other episodes. We have a really good time here at Rock My Finances. I want you to be able to say that. I want you to be able to know the F word, your feelings, fall in love with money, and enjoy your life. Regina, I love you. Oh, my little love. I love you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Check out her scrolling. If you have a business and you want to step forward a little bit more, you can trust my girl here.
I will take care of you.
She will take care of you in all areas. Thank you all so much. Please check out the next episode of Rock My Finances, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.